So it's Saturday, 25th of January, Burns night. We're in the boat shed at Freedom Boats, and behind me we have Absolute Freedom, which has come into the boat shed tail end of December for a reasonable amount of maintenance. There's been a lot of chips and scratches and such that have been put into this over the last few years that need repairing before she can go back into service next year. And well, that's really what we've been doing. There's been at the moment just maintenance on it, but there will be some upgrades to her over the next few weeks. One of the more challenging parts of doing any kind of repair are things that are kind of flat. And repairing anything that's white is really awkward as well, because white's never white. We happen to know what the original gel coat was on these, so we bought the same material, which is still produced, and there's a large repair here where there's quite a lot of cracking gone on, and there's still a little bit here. You might be able to see some just up there. I'll try and cut a little bit of a video in to show you the star crayon in a moment. So here you can see the repair part way through. The grey areas are the exposed grinding, so to speak, of the side of the boat where we've ground out all of the damage, and the white areas with the grey outline. That's a series of fiberglass repairs, and we've put a pigment into that to help make sure that the gel coat that we put on top is entirely covering the area. So there's that star crazing running into the blue there. You can just about see it running around the edge of this repair, and of course you can't really see much of the repair now because it's there, but obviously light balances and everything in the shed don't necessarily make this a perfect thing to see at these kind of angles. And of course the device keeps wanting to kind of refocus, so you can't necessarily see it, but that's quite a sizable chunk that's been taken out and repaired and flattened. And of course we had to take the rubbing strake off. There it comes to get to that as well. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, at least 14 nuts and bolts that need taking out just to hold that on. That 14 doesn't sound like a lot, but yeah, these have been in there for a while. They should be stainless steel. On lots of boats they're not, and you end up just cutting them off. Often you cut them off anyway because they've been mullered through impact, and it's obviously a two-person job because you need someone on the outside, somebody on the inside, and yeah, on the face of it is a simple job. Taking things apart is often a simple job, and often it isn't, though. It looks like it's a simple job to start with, and then you look at it again and you think, well, I can't turn that, that's broken, and that's cross-threaded, and that's snapped, or that's rusted, and you end up just cutting them off, and that's if you can get to them. So not always are these things that simple, but thankfully they come off quite easily. They'll go back quite easily because they'll go back with new stainless steel nuts and bolts, or stainless steel fixings at the very least, and access isn't too bad. When we actually put these rubbing strakes on to boats, obviously we haven't done this one, but it's an absolute mammoth job because this rubber isn't light, and you end up talking about a considerable amount of work to do them. And it isn't unusual for it to take the best part of a week to do top and lower rubbers on a boat, putting them on from scratch, because it's a 2 to 3 person job to start with. Drilling new holes, setting everything up, it's awkward. So yeah, taking a few off and and putting them back isn't quite so bad, except when of course when it's in areas such as this here, because right behind this was nothing. It's the rear well of the boat, and in order to gain access in there for not just taking the rubbing strake off, but also the work. Because if you look at the original photos of the back of this, you'll see the damage. Then yeah, you just can't get in there. You've got to get in from both sides and do a really solid repair. So we've actually had to cut a new access hole in the rear well of this boat in order to get in there. I'm not going to climb up there now because I'm not in work clothes and it's exceptionally dusty. So that'll be for another shot. So here you can see a couple of stages of the repairs to the gel around the back. You're just looking at the tow rail to start with. There's a lot of repair going on with that, and you can see a lot of dust where it's been sanded down. Eventually that'll be polished back to a high gloss finish. Moving further back, then there's a lot of gel that's just been painted on, and you can see it sits there as though it's a liquid still, and is what it looks like in this in these shots, and that all needs sanding and taking down and then polishing as well. So that's a very quick update on the progress on Absolute Freedom. If you've enjoyed this, please click on the subscribe button down below on the right, and you'll be informed of any new videos that get uploaded. Thanks a lot.